Hey guys, welcome back. I did say I would try to make a journal with me video of some kind. Well, the journal with me video for today is the lanyard. So I'm going to show you guys what it is I do, the thought process, and the sort of list that I create to help me build a lanyard that's effective for at least 6 months. Now, admittedly, I have realized that the lanyard works for most of the year, but it changes a little bit according to the season. Um, because my responsibilities change because I have some outdoor stuff that I do. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this off from around my neck so I can read it much more easily. It's a bit more user friendly that way for the purposes of this video. And sorry for my hair, guys. I don't have my straightener right now, so it's like going everywhere. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna look at this. Some of this I don't mind telling you guys I'm gonna change, or some of it I'm gonna keep, or I'm gonna move it. Other things are a bit too personal, and let's face it, TMI. You don't want any of that. So I will omit the things that are a bit TMI, and we'll go from there. So I'm just gonna take this off of the lanyard, hang the lanyard on the little post over there. And my first page here, I've got 2 pages, just the front of 2 pages. This is a size 9 font, by the way, hold on, what was the style? Times New Roman. So Times New Roman, size 9, and it gets me 32 items on one thing that's about the size of my hand, so not too bad. Okay, so I've got a lot of things that I try to do, and I do apologize for like the random intervals that I seem to post my videos at, because I work anywhere from 8 to 14 hours on any given day because I've got some online businesses that I'm starting. And as pretty much anybody who's done online business knows, you can work as much or as little as you like. And yeah, you're working at your own pace, but if you're not careful, you run the risk of not spending time with your family and your friends, your loved ones. And in this case, I haven't really been spending much time with you guys. And I do have some stuff that has some serious deadlines. So I don't want to be caught out when January hits. Here it is, November, by the way. If you're like watching this on a different day from when it was posted and you're looking back in the history going, oh, I wonder when that was. Yeah, it's about the middle of November right now. So yeah, I've got some stuff that needs to be done by January. And yeah, it's a pretty intense goal, but I know I'm good for it, and it's just a matter of buckling down and doing the things that need to be done, and that's all there is to it. Um, so with that in mind, I want to thank my whole 5 subscribers that I have on my channel, because my previous channel, I did have quite a few subscribers, but unfortunately I have lost access to that channel because when I tried to change the contact email for that, YouTube didn't let me change it. Instead, they built me a new YouTube channel, and because I now no longer have access to the old email, I can't even get into the old channel. So I'm sorry, guys. I've got like, I think 40 videos on the other channel, probably by the same name. I think the old channel has the same name as this one does. And yeah, some of those are videos that I don't have backups for one reason or another. Some of those files are so old, I can't find them anymore. I'm sure they're around somewhere. It's just a matter of me locating the actual thumb drive or device that they're sitting on. So we'll see how many of those I can find and repost, or I might just try to rebuild that list. I don't know. Most of the videos were karaoke covers, So I have built a playlist for karaoke covers, which I'm hoping to do something with in the near future, as well as some other playlist ideas. So look through the playlist ideas. That'll give you kind of a perspective of what's to come and what you can look forward to. So, with all the things that I do, music and reenactment, and I have my own dance school, it gets pretty full on because I've also got the little homestead farming as well that I do some of. I'm not as big on it as I was, say, a couple years ago, but it is still a responsibility of mine. I do have to keep track of all this. So the lanyard is really helpful. Now, for those of you who have not already seen the video that just talks about what the lanyard really is and what it does, please go and watch that. Let's see, it is in one of the playlists that I created today. So check out the journaling playlist. It may also be in the adulting playlist, but I know it's definitely in the journaling playlist. So check that out. Let's get right into this. So, how did I first start creating this thing? Okay, I wanted to know everything that I did in my day, so I started creating a list, like pretty much anybody does. And this list started off with, okay, I need to know what it is from the instant I wake up to the instant I go to bed. I was that pedantic about it. And I realize now that some of that was unnecessary. Some of it I'm very, very glad I did. So if you want to try that, be my guest. What I suggest is a clipboard or one of those really small spiral notebooks. It's about the size of your hand, maybe a little bit smaller, because they make like the half ones that are about half the size of your hand, and then they make the ones that are about the size of your hand. And those work out really well for just toting around, and you can take the spiral of that and clip it to a lanyard and wear that around your neck for the day, and then that can help you keep track of all the stuff that you're doing. So you just write it down as you go. But if you don't want to just, go through your entire day, just think about the stuff that you need to do and begin writing those things down. Now, for me, the biggest issue was laundry. It was always on my mind. Oh my God, it's like a nightmare. So I knew that I was always doing laundry. I didn't know why, but I knew I was. And then I looked at the size of my washing machine and I realized, okay, that's an issue. But I can't afford to replace my washing machine to get a bigger one. And my washing machine isn't busted, so it just means I have to do it more often, which means I have to schedule it in. Otherwise, it's not going to get done, and I know this. So I fit that in here, and it looks a little weird because on page 2, you'll see 3 of exactly the same thing, and all it says is one word, laundry. It's number 36, number 37, and number 38. Okay, fine. I've listed laundry 3 separate times. Why did I do it 3? All right. For things that I knew were absolutely big and I had to make a lot of time for them, or I had to frequently see to them, it was a case of, okay, for example, with the laundry, I have to put it in the washing machine. So wash laundry, that would be 1. And then, I've got to hang the laundry out because we don't have a dryer, and dryers shrink clothes anyway. So there's hang the laundry, and then there's bring the laundry in and sort it, fold it, all that stuff as well. And I know that there is a system out there that says, what is it? Handle everything once. I tend to use the 2-minute rule. This household, unfortunately, I can't seem to get the handle it once rule going. So I use the 2-minute rule. You spend 2 minutes doing that one thing, and then you don't have to do anymore. If you can at least do 2 minutes, that is 2 minutes you don't have to do of that anymore for a while anyway. And you feel a sense of achievement because you've done that thing now. So you can do this with your dishes, you can do this with your laundry, sweeping, dusting, mopping, whatever it is that you need to get done that really annoys you. 2 minutes, the 2 minute rule. There's some YouTube videos on exactly the depth of what that can achieve over an extended period of time. So I won't cover that because there are other channels that have, and it's easy enough to look up. So I'll let you look into that on your own. So I knew that 3 things of laundry would do me for a day every day. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the same exact 3 every day, nor do they have to be in the same order. So, for example, let's say I did an extra load of laundry because maybe I had some reenactment costumes that got really dirty. So that's going to take up a lot of space in the washing machine because of the thickness of the fabric. So I'm like, okay, fine. There it goes. It goes in. It's a load in itself. Usually one outfit is an entire load. It's a 4.5 kilo washing machine. What can I say? So that goes in, and then what? I've got like 4 of that one item in the day because I've already done the 3. So I wake up the next day. I go to bed. It stays in there overnight. No big deal. I get up and then I realize, oh, hey, before I can even wash anything, I've got to hang this out. So they may not be in the same order. So that's why I didn't do wash, hang, bring in, it's just laundry written 3 separate times, all in a row. And whenever I fit them in is whenever I fit them in. When I first started this list, I did, however, try to keep everything in order. So my big issue was making sure that I went from start to finish in my day, but the laundry could pretty much just fit in wherever. So that's what happened there. So the first thing that was on my list is, okay, I have cats. 2 of Midnight and Monster. Love them. And they're black cats, by the way. I have this thing for black cats. And they were both adopted. Lovely animals. Just wish they got on a bit better. So, obviously, first thing on my list is refresh cat litter. I mean, let's face it, you don't want that smell in the house. So, I always just, refresh that. So, I definitely want to keep that in my list. Now, because I've already built this in a previous year, what I'm going to do is just take this red pen and tick the things that I want to keep. And try not to rub this ink off. So, refresh cat litter. That's definitely a keeper. Let's see. Set alarms for writing. Okay, see, I've got books that I'm trying to finish. And I have been working on them on a regular basis. But I'm not working on them as often as I would like. I'm definitely going to keep that because setting alarms for things is really important. And it's just one of those things that you really should get in the habit of, because on a day when you're really, not feeling it, if you've already gotten into the habit of doing something and the alarm goes off, I have found that it's so much easier for me to just go ahead and do this thing. And again, even if you can't do the full time block, maybe you're just feeling really blah. Or as I like to say, you're feeling like the splat on the windshield of life. You can at least, maybe give 2 minutes to this thing, and then maybe you get into it after 2 minutes, and you can really do this thing. But if after 2 minutes you're still not really feeling it, at least you've done something, and you can tick that off for your day. So the books that I'm writing on, I'm going to go ahead and tick those because they're still not finished yet. There's preparations in here too, by the way. If there's something that you're working on, and say, for example, you're trying to write a book, and so you've set a time slot for that to fit into in your day, fair enough. Good on you. That's a great way to start. Make sure that you fit into your day time to prepare for that. Especially if you have a life that has a fair few distractions in it. Say, like, little ones or animals that are a bit needy for attention, things like that. You might have to get set up that way. You might also have to get it set up in the way that I do, which is get your ideas together. So I've got a little notebook that I write down what I last did, exactly the last thing that I did, and what I tried to achieve in that time slot that I was working on that piece of writing. And so I keep a history of what I've done. And this is really good too, depending on what country you live in. I'm just going to say this. This is off the record. Don't hold me to this. But it's something that I'm using for my personal records. If you want a history log of what you've been doing to, let people know that, yes, this is an original work, you might think about doing some of that kind of journaling. So that way you can definitely say, yes, on X day, X month, I did such and such exactly. And there it is in your handwriting with, hey, maybe a date and a signature. I don't know. Every little bit helps. Protect yourself, protect your original works. Do what you can to take care of that which is yours, okay? But yeah, check on the laws where you live in that, because that may or may not be applicable where you live. But it's at least good enough to use in your journaling, just so that you know where you're at and what you're doing. Another thing that I tend to journal the same way is the editing and recordings and practices for what happens in the recording studio here. So I'll be doing something in the studio, and though I may be working by myself because I couldn't really get any band members on board with me to do this stuff, I still log it as though it is a professional kit out where I am dealing with other people and I need to know how many hours has been spent doing this thing or that thing or something else. And I also log exactly what was achieved, how much was edited, how much was recorded, how much was rehearsed. What was it that was edited, recorded, rehearsed, whatever? Is there a music video to go along with it, or is it just audio that I was working on? It's all these things I try to log, and that goes into this Lanyard setup as well, because you have to make time for those, and you want to remember everything it is you've got to do. So another thing too, don't forget to turn off your alarms, depending on what those alarms are. Let's say something has happened and you've kind of gotten distracted and you've been pulled away from this project. Maybe a small emergency, hopefully not a big one. And so one of your alarms is going off in the house and you've been taken away to, say, the grocery store for some reason. That alarm is still going at home, and whoever's at home might not know how to shut off your alarm. I've been in that situation. I literally had to pull the battery pack out of my roommate's laptop because the alarm on it was set so that it would play the same song over and over, and I literally put up with this same song for 2 hours before I pulled the battery pack. I'm a pretty patient person, but I have my limits. And to this very day, I'm still sick of hearing that song. Yeah, that was over a decade ago. My daily Bible reading, I definitely want to do some more in that sense. I used to do it. I probably achieved that for about 9 months this past year, so I'm very happy about that. And again, daily Bible reading, it doesn't have to be, any massive amount, if you're into that sort of thing. Again, 2-minute rule. 2 minutes, and you don't have to do any more than that. Just at least try to aim for that much. Again, go and look for those videos about the 2-minute rule and see what you think. I also do a bit of illustrating for the books that I'm writing, so I make sure that I take time for that, and that's in this list. So I'm giving that a tick as well. So any creativity that you do, definitely put that in here. Let's see. Oh. Yes, that still applies. We still have water fountains that are fully functional. We just don't have as many because I've got to replace some pumps. Life happens. So that's something that's my responsibility. Now, things that happen when I first get up. This first set was more about creativity. This next section is more about personal stuff. So I know this video is fairly lengthy. I'm sorry. But it is a journal with me video. So we've gone through. I hope that you've taken time to pause this. If you haven't, do that now to write down all the creative stuff that you definitely want to make sure that you do in your day. Okay, now I'm hoping that you pause the video. Let's just say that you have. Now we're gonna get into some personal stuff, so like personal hygiene, things that maybe you want to make sure that you do every day, and you don't really wanna skip doing it anymore because you kind of end up feeling a bit feral. And admittedly, if you start getting into some of the habits that I've gotten into, you notice when you don't do them that one time. For example, washing my feet when I first get up. I live in the tropics, so it's really, really important to me to wash my feet when I first wake up, because I definitely notice it when I don't. It's a big thing for me, so that's in my list, and that's getting a tick, because I'm definitely going to be continuing that. And on a sick day or on a day when I'm really distracted or, just got rocks for brains, I can just look at this thing and go, oh, yeah, I gotta wash my feet. Okay, yeah, cool. And I don't have to think. That's the whole magic of a lanyard. I don't have to think. It's hanging around my neck. The thinking is done for me. So, yeah, as ridiculous as that sounds, washing my feet when I first get up is gonna go on this list. It was already on here, so I'm keeping it. And another big one is brush your teeth when you first get up, okay? It doesn't take that long, and it's such a simple thing to do. If you can do it, just do it, okay? You never know who's gonna come knocking on the door first thing in the morning, and they come up to your house, and they're like, hey, how you doing? They want to sell you something. They want to talk to you, whatever. And your breath is good. Because you brushed your teeth. You did brush your teeth to answer that door, didn't you? I hope so. I'm hoping. So, yeah, that's a big thing. And of course, brushing your teeth before you go to bed. That's a big thing too. I'm a bit pedantic. I don't have the healthiest teeth in the world, so I even just kind of give myself a bit of freshen up from time to time. If my breath feels kind of gross or my mouth feels kind of gross, I'll just pause in my day and brush at my teeth a bit. We've got another rainstorm. It's so lovely. We don't normally get much rain, but it's like so many times when I do a YouTube video, it's raining. It's great. I love it. I should do YouTube videos more often. We'll get more rain here. So yeah, brushing my teeth before I go to bed, brushing my teeth when my mouth feels gross, brushing my teeth when I get up. All these things, they're staying on my list. Stretching. Okay, stretching a little bit every day is just generally good for me, so that's something I'm keeping. If there's something that a physician or personal trainer or coach has recommended that you do a little bit of every day, try to include that in your lanyard. All right, so I've got some of those in here. I'm going to change this one on mine. We're on 15 in this list. I apologize for the length here. Number 15 is lift weights a little every day. I don't do weights anymore. I do natural body weight training, so I'm gonna write that in a little bit different when I rebuild this lanyard. But it's still getting a tick at the end because it's something that I still do within reason. Yeah, trimming the lawn every day, that's something that I should do more of. There for a while, I kind of lost control of the lawn care because I got busy with, the online businesses and that. So it happens. Checking the snail mail, that's always important. I'm gonna go ahead and lay something on you guys. Checking the snail mail, I'll get it out in a minute, is a very big issue for me because there for many years it was almost impossible for me to do. It created so much anxiety. It was horrible. So the first list I did, you're gonna laugh, but well, I don't know if you're gonna laugh or not. Most people would. My first goal was to check the snail mail daily, and I checked it annually because it caused so much anxiety. And then I realized after like a couple of years, maybe probably more like 4 years now I think about it, that wasn't an accurate aim. I needed to do something a bit more simple. So I decided, okay, once every 6 months. And the first year that I decided I was going to make that tiny little step forward, I did it. The 6th month of the year came. What was I doing? I was checking the mail. I did it. And then at the end of the year, again, I was able to check it because it was a tiny little step. That's another thing you need to look into. Everybody gets all excited about these New Year's resolution things, and what you really need to focus on is tiny improvements, okay? Because they don't look like much right now, and they don't feel like much right now. But further on into the future, you're going to look back at where you came from and go, oh my goodness. Wow, what improvement. I've mentioned it before. I've mentioned that before in another video. I know I have. So then like the next year it was, okay, I'll check it quarterly. So once every 3 months. And that happened. And then check the snail mail daily. It was a big jump. It was a big jump, but I did it. So that I kept it. I kept it in my list. And so it's going in my list for next year. Keep up with the journaling. Yeah, that's important. The lanyard, if nothing else, is a daily journaling thing. Even if you don't have anything that you have to keep track of, like maybe you don't have a YouTube channel, maybe you don't have artwork that you're trying to do, maybe you're not really into diaries or journaling, but you like the idea of a lanyard. Keeping up with your journaling, even if you're just following through the lanyard and just crossing things off with like a China marker or something, is still keeping up with your journaling. So put that in there, and I'm gonna keep it for next year. This is a little bit out of order, but freshen up when I get up. Okay, one of the things that I do when I get up is I make sure that I feel refreshed. So I won't say that I always take like a short shower, but living in the tropics, it's definitely important to make sure that the sweatiest places get a bit of a cleansing. Okay, so that is definitely happening. I'm trying to word this as how do I say, as gentle as light as possible because I don't want to gross you guys out. So we are at number 20 on the list. So I'm going to pause this right here because this is a 30-minute video and I'm going to do another one. It'll probably be about 30 minutes long and it'll be part 2.